I got a chance to take out my M4 pattern Palmetto State Armory AR-15. Got it out to the range and ran about 100 rounds through it of Federal 55 grain, standard issue. I think it was Lake City marked, and ran 100%, and it had very good accuracy. So I have a little video in here, and we'll talk about the accuracy later, but that'll show you whenever I'm actually shooting at the range. Got these different magazines for this. I've got the black, let's see, here one's M3 Magpuls. Where is it? Oh, there we go. I'm out in the bright sunlight here, so I'm not seeing too well at the moment. And everything, I just used this one particular magazine, and I picked up some other ones over the past couple weeks and months. I bought a green one of an M2, which does not have that ridge on it, if you can see right here. And then also a tan one, and different ones with different features. Some of them have windows in them, some of them do not. So you can see your magazines there, your how many rounds you have in it. You have this little protective clamp here on the front. If you want to protect your ammunition, like in the range bag or something like that, you can use that. Don't get any dirt in it. So a lot of different choices now with magazines. As you can see here, if you want to color coordinate it, which I think is a little bit strange, but brought out one of these here too. This is what I used a while back in my Colt AR-15. This is actually an Israeli Orlite magazine, which would have predated the PMags and stuff by probably a couple decades, but they work fine as well. Not as well as the Magpuls. I noticed that the Orlites actually would swell a little bit, and they would be a little bit more difficult to put into the rifle. These do not swell at all, and they just slip in just like a regular aluminum one, which actually I have one here, so you can see the difference between that. So you can do just about anything you want to today. A lot more choices than back in the 80s and 90s. And you can see I bought the green one just to see what it looked like, all green. I don't think I'd have to buy any more green ones, but tan one I bought before I bought the green furniture rifle. So no, they're just useful magazines. I'm going to test all of them. Only tested the black one so far. This is the scope that I used out there for the testing. And you can see this actually is extremely long, and it ends up getting into where the M-bus, the Magpul backup sights actually would be mounted. So I've got another set of quick release clamps, scope mounts that are coming in the mail hopefully within the next day or two. So I'm going to take that out next time I get out. So anyways, let's pop over to the range session, and then we'll talk about the accuracy. Just got her up today, use the scope, about 1.5 inches with the scope. No, this B square thing, which doesn't really work out very well. Got to get a new scope now. And the iron sights are off about 1.5 feet for elevation, so I got to get my tool and bring that next time. So ammunition expenditure is just basically for functioning testing today. There you have it. Ran about 100 rounds through it today, just with getting it sighted in with the scope and also with the iron sights. So I will be back out again to get it zeroed in. So looks like a good deal. $429 delivered. Can't beat it. All right, I know. So you can see what the range session was. I didn't shoot a lot just because it was deer season and there's people all over the place, and so I just got did some function testing, a little bit of accuracy testing. The trigger on the rifle is okay, I would say, but it does have a little bit of creep and is a little bit heavy. It's probably just a little bit better than my Colt, which cost me, over twice the price of this rifle. It is better actually than the Colt trigger that I have. And like I said on the video, you can see here I did these two, brought these two here for groups on the way home. Let's see, you can probably see it there. So about 1.5 inches there, two close together, one to the side. And you have two other groups right here. Again, two really close together, one off to the side, and another two. Almost, basically all three of them were 1.5 inch groups. So, not bad. I'm very happy with that at 100 yards. So, for the price and everything, I think it's well worth the money. Now, the Magpul sights here, the M-Bus Magpul backup sights, they do have two different apertures on it. You have the wide aperture, you can get them in there, and then it flips up to a smaller aperture. So, and also, of course, once I get my other scope mount, I'll be able to put that down, and you have your rail there. You can fit the scope mount on here, so I can use it for around the house if I wanted to for home defense, which I haven't decided on that yet, but I have to have a ready rack just because of kids and stuff around, locked ready rack. Or I can put a scope on it and use it for going out for coyotes, perhaps. I mean, I have a Remington Model 7, but it's always nice to have other options. Also, I did pick up, in the video, my front sight is off by about 1.5 feet, so I need to get back to the range to actually have that checked out. Let's see if I can see here. And right there you can see there's a little dedent, and then it looks like there's 4 dedents around it. So I thought I had my old one for my Colt, couldn't find that, so I went out and bought this guy. Let's see, who's it? AR-15 front post adjustment, and it has the prongs on it for a 4 or a 3 prong sight. So when I get out to the range after Christmas, we'll have a go with that again too. And also I picked up a rail section for these MOE. So you can see here on the rail, on the handguard, that there's these slots. This is going to fit into there, and then I can mount something like a flashlight or a laser or whatever I wanted to on it. So I think that's very useful. I'd like to get that done here, and hopefully before I get out again, maybe get a flashlight to put on there. So just to review again, so I took out my Palmetto State Armory M4 configured carbine, and $429 delivered, like I said, and I still can't find anything wrong with it, to be honest. It runs fine, it looks good, feels good, nice and light up front, isn't like my heavy barrel H-Bar 2, and comes highly recommended. You got to wait for a sale if you want to get it, near the price that I had, but yeah, excellent rifle. All right, thanks again, and out. And if you're curious, in my first video, Ben kept getting his nose in there a lot. Hello, Ben. How are you? And he was a good boy today. So maybe he'll be an idiot the next time.